Hello and welcome everyone to this new video on the channel, and I feel like by the different camera setup you can already tell it's going to be something, well, different. Today I wanted to kind of start a small series of just some revamped Morphtronic combo guides with just a little more helpful insight into what you should do with the deck. And of course, episode 1 of this is going to be focused on equip-based variants, which I have in front of me. Check out the profile. I'll probably leave a link somewhere up here or somewhere else on the screen. So yeah, I feel like a good start with this would be just assuming that you drew a cell phone and a machine duplication. So we're going to pick those two out of the deck right there. For the cell phone, just any way to get the cell phone really works here, since yeah, you have your 1-for-1, which is also essentially a copy of cell phone, and you do have the opportunity of foolish burying your cell phone and then just getting to it by another way. So since this is a going second variant, we are going to draw 4 extra cards here, which is going to look very spicy, and this will be our card for turn, which is a junk box. Couldn't have been better. This is, of course, assuming you don't get interrupted in your place. You're going to go ahead, normal summon that cell phone, and follow it up with a machine duplication, which is going to grab you 2 other cell phones from the deck. Which is going to basically get into my first point, since I do have some notes in front of me. Unironically making notes for this, smile. Yeah. You just machine duped cell phone. How do you go about searching, and what do you prioritize while searching? And how do you basically work that into your combos? In general, I think you should prioritize tuners, going off with the first cell phone effect here, grabbing a quick dice out of the deck box that I definitely had prepared. So we're going to roll a 5, as you can see up here. Revealing the top 5 cards of the deck. And under those, we only have tuners, and Scope is definitely the one that looks the most appealing here, just because Scope makes sense. You could have picked the Remoten here as well. Remoten has the advantage of essentially being able to grab you a smartphone here. But just focus first tuners, Remoten, Scopen, smartphone, depending on what you are running. I'm just going to lay down my hand essentially here, so you can have a clearer view. Going off on the second cell phone search, which is a 4. Revealing again cards from the top of our deck. I'm going to put those up here. In this case, I can't pick a tuner, so I just grab the Radeon here. And now, since I used both of these cell phones, I'm going to go ahead, link those to off, so we can free board space and go into further place. Always remember which ones you used, since you don't want to link off a cell phone you still had usable. Go into a platinum gadget here, put that up there in the link zone. As mentioned, if you're wondering what this deck contains, just check out the profile I mentioned in the beginning. Hand at the bottom here, go for the next cell phone, which is a 1. Going to reveal a double tool. Stuff like this happens. I'm just going to put this under the deck for the time being. Resolving the Scopen effect here to special summon a Boomboxen from hand, and then going ahead to banish a cell phone to summon the smartphone I have in hand to resolve that as well. Getting a 6, which is very nice. Revealing 6 cards from the top of my deck. Getting actually nothing, except for the repair unit. Since smartphone lets you add any Morphtronic card and doesn't require you to add a monster. Smartphone, actually, I have a point just on smartphone alone, taking the Scopen and the Radeon here to go into the best level 7 Synchro, which is going to be Power Tool Dragon. Put that up there, use the effect to grab a United We Stand just to slim down the deck a bit and maximize the chances of seeing a Morphtronic while revealing. Smartphone is kind of important, because if you summon a smartphone off cell phone, you really need to remember which one you summoned, since smartphone has a special summoning condition. You want to make sure that you keep track of which ones you summoned off cell phone, since you can't resummon those from the grave, which is understandable, I guess. But yeah, in this case, we will just go ahead and, I don't know, make a Naturia Beast here, just to get that spell lock going. Summon that over here. Didn't use the Platinum Gadget effect. Not yet. Going to go ahead here, see what we have in grave. Okay, that is interesting. Dropping the junk box here to grab back a Saffron. Not the machine duplication. Saffron's effect going off again for a 2. Hoping for a remote in here. Stapling is fine, I guess, which is going to leave us in a bad spot. But I was prepared for this, actually. Since most of your searching is RNG based. Saffron, smartphone, both RNG based. In those situations, I could have just gone for the Scopen here, or the smartphone, for essentially a safe play. But you can definitely be like, okay, I'm going to grab a cell phone, try to dig for a remote. Didn't work for me in this case, but remember that. You can get greedy in a sense, but you don't need to be like, yeah, this, that. Need to remember what I want to do. So I'm just kind of resetting the deck here quickly. So yeah, I'll probably just grab Remoten and a machine duplication this time, just to show that play a bit. With your combos, it's most likely more based on what you want to end on, and you base your decisions mostly on that. And you do not have a set board, because, yeah, you can kind of tell what Morphtronics can end on when you machine dupe a cell phone, which would be, on average, I'd say, like a Power Tool Dragon, maybe a Infernoble Knight, Emperor Charles, another level 7 in the Cyber's Quantum Dragon, and maybe another Synchro. But that is essentially up to you. Grabbing remote machine dupe this time, as mentioned, wanting to showcase the combos with that, and why I personally run the Levier, or like running the Levier. Again, drawing 4 cards to kind of simulate that going second. Have 6 cards in hand right here. Going to normal summon the Remoten, follow that up with a machine duplication targeting said Remoten, and grabbing 2 more Remotens from the deck. Where's the third one? Where is the third one? There it is. Get that onto the board. So yeah, that's kind of the thing with Morphtronics. You have your guaranteed searches in Remoten, so you can basically kind of use those to fill in the blanks, I guess. Take 2 of those Remotens and make a Platinum Gadget. Activate the 1 Remoten you have left on the field to banish 1, and add a Morphtronic with the same level, which would be 3, in this case a Scopen, to your hand. Really weird, since these sleeves are basically brand new. Shuffling all these. Drew a cell phone, by the way, so I could have machine duped that, but wanting to showcase the Remoten play here. Going to activate the Platinum Gadget to summon that Scopen out of the deck. Scopen's effect will activate, summoning the Boomboxen, and then we will overlay here for the Levier, which is actually going to activate its effect, detaching Scopen to summon back a Remoten, activate Remoten's effect. You can banish either the Scopen or the Remoten here, it really doesn't matter. Scopen, if you have an extra, you keep the Scopen in grave if you have an extra way to kind of extend. But yeah, just grabbing one to hand in general is great, since you want to get that for following turns or just your the continuation of your plays in general. So yeah. Yeah, and in this situation, you kind of just go ahead, take those two, make a power tool dragon in this case. I already have an equipped spell in hand, so I'm going to go for a Morphtronic repair unit in this case. Grab an extender, maybe get a cell phone on the board and get some searching done with that to build board presence and see if I can't make more synchros from there. But first, I'm going to look into my graveyard, banish the other remote in here to summon the smartphone I have in hand, which is going to activate its effect. Rolling a 6-sided die, getting my headset cable further onto the playmat as it already was, and rolling a 5, which is going to net me some really neat reveals here, honestly. Okay, from here on, what can I take? I'll just grab a staple, since that looks kind of good at the moment. And I still have the scope in hand. Yep, I know how my cards work. Smile. Hand's looking pretty stacked with staple, repair units, cell phone, double tools, and the scope at this point. From here on, just like I mentioned, you have multiple ways to go about this. I can, of course, go for a cell phone here with the repair unit, since I can just discard the cell phone, summon it back. Since I do have Morphtronics engraved, the repair unit is live. And I can also go scopen. So basically, if you make a mental save here, you can either go repair unit, discarding the cell phone to summon back the cell phone, resolve that effect, which is going to net us 3 in this case, 3 for nothing, unlucky. But if you don't want to take that gamble, I guess, you can also just go ahead and essentially discard the scope you have in hand to summon that, resolve that effect, summoning a staple, and from here on going into another level 7 synchro. I don't know, a second power tool dragon. Ghost Ray is kind of hard to tell. Going into a Cyber's Quantum Dragon, make an FA Dawn Dragster if you want to go first. But those are just some general thoughts. Yeah. So I'm just going to shuffle this up for a third time now. And this time I'm not going to pick out specific cards, because those are the main 2 lines of play you have. So I'm just probably going to basically spitball further ideas while just drawing essentially some hands, I guess. So we will get this all nicely together. As mentioned, sleeves are still kind of slippery since these are brand new. Grabbing 5, flipping those 5 to see what we have here. Machine Duplication, United We Stand, Boombox and Staple, and a double tools, drawing a 6th card for turn. Well, this is a fat brick, to be honest. Can't really do much here. Maybe set the staple in defense just to block 2 attacks. But not really a lot you can do with a hand like that. So we are quickly going to shuffle that back, since I haven't actually been talking that much, to be honest. And see if we can't get ourselves into something better. But yeah, I run cell phone remote as my machine dupe targets. I've seen builds with Lantron, but if you run Lantron, please remember to run a... Oh, that's looking really good. We are going to start this off with a Foolish Burial, because that's one of our ways to get to this guy, sending that guy to the grave. And after that, since we have the repair unit in hand, we can go and pop off, essentially. Foolish is going to go to grave. Honestly, it really doesn't matter if you go for the repair unit here or the junk box. I'm just going to go for the junk box, summoning back the cell phone here, and then following that up with a machine duplication, targeting the cell phone and grabbing 2 other cell phones from the deck. Right back to back here, keeping together, the boys. So yeah. Where was I? Basically, if you're running Lantron, just remember to run Wear After because you want to make use of that. Going into the Saffron effects here. As mentioned, I have seen builds who include Lantron as a machine dupe target, which I can definitely see, but I feel like if you run Lantron, you are most likely running a more synchro spam combo-oriented build, which has its merits, and I'll probably do a combo guide on those too, but today I wanted to focus on my favorite build, which would be Equips. Second cell phone goes off here. Grabbed a smartphone off the first. Remember that smartphone because you want to maybe banish that for another smartphone summon or banish that off your remoten so you can grab a vacuuman or a cell phone if you didn't already machine dupe it. Since you can't summon it from the grave because it wasn't properly special summoned. Taking the two cell phones I already used here to make a platinum gadget. Really good link monster, honestly. Using the last cell phone here to see what I can dig up, which is a double remote, which is also great. Which I will go ahead and use the smartphone since I haven't done that. Oh, that's an easy pick, by the way. Grabbing the Scopen here. Not really much of a debate going on there, I feel like. And yeah, with all that searching out of the way, we are going to take smartphone and cell phone and turn those into a formula synchron. Reason being, as mentioned, I can't resummon the smartphone, so I want to banish that for my remoten here. But before that, I am going to activate the formula synchron effect to draw another card, chain the remoten, banish the smartphone I can't resummon. As mentioned, was summoned off cell phone. So keep those things in mind while comboing, grabbing another smartphone here essentially. And yeah, shuffling the deck real quick to get that stuff back. Quickly looking over the hand, which is looking stacked as everything. Going into a level 7 synchro here, preferably Power Tool Dragon in this case, using his effect to grab a United We Stand. You can basically substitute equip spells like United We Stand for anything you like. I just like United We Stand for the big numbers and the OTK potentials, so that is something I run by preference, but you can definitely work with something else here. Platinum Gadget's effect will go off summoning a Scopen. Scopen's effect will trigger summoning a level 4 Morphtronic from hand. I will actually go ahead and summon another Power Tool Dragon here. Use that guy's effect to grab the last equip spell I am running, since I run everything in threes, which is what you should be doing with most of your equip spells. I can just basically guaranteed grab these. Just to showcase, there are the other two Uniteds, and there's one of the double tools, and there's the other, and you quickly saw it peek out here, the repair units. So remember to run those in playsets. Taking the formula synchron and the one Power Tool Dragon I had here to go ahead and make Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles with it, which is a very, very cool card in this equip-based variant, because I still have a repair unit in hand, which I'm going to use to discard a staple to go ahead and summon. As mentioned, you have many routes here. You can go Scopen, because I still have... oh, I actually don't have a non-tuner left in hand. I actually discarded it just now. That's kind of problematic, but still fine, because we can just go Scopen. And from there on out, banish a Morphtronic to summon the smartphone, activate smartphone's effect. Again, sometimes you do have to take these gambles. This case doesn't pay off, unlucky. Put the Harpy's Feather Duster to the bottom here. Not really much I can do with this left. I can just take the smartphone, turn this into a Linkuribo. Again, those gambles can pay off big time. Just equip those. Charles will, of course, get pops. Already had the opportunity to pop, and I still have the Remoten actually in hand, which is funnily enough, because if I remember correctly, since I summoned that Saffron in the beginning, I still have my normal summon open, which is why I'm going to go ahead, Remoten. Goes to grab, I don't know, banishes Boomboxen here, I guess, which is fine. So I can just take these two, overlay into Levier, so I don't end on a board that is nearly as scuffed as the other one. Levier can detach here. Doesn't really matter what you detach. Either grabbing a Boomboxen. If I didn't already equip, I could use United on Boomboxen, so I can have two rather big attacks since I get 6 monsters on the board. But I'm just going to go for the Stapin because it has the inherently bigger body. And with double tools on power tool, it kind of creates this attack lock. So yeah, just recapping most of the things I already said. Saffron and Remoten are arguably your best machine dupe targets. Let me grab those guys out real quick since I used both. Or rather, Saffron and Remoten are my preferred machine dupe targets. I just think both cards work really well for me, and have a lot of plays available to them and generate you a good amount of advantage of machine duping them. As mentioned, if you want to run Lantron, go ahead, you're free to do that, but I would recommend Lantron in a more Where Art Thou, Synchro Spam, combo-focused build, which I am definitely going to cover, but I just wanted to start off with equips, since those are my favorites. When you're revealing monsters off the top with your cell phones or your smartphones, since it's random, keep in mind that you want to just mainly prioritize tuners while you can, and leave the non-tuners for the situations where you really need them, since just getting a tuner, especially remote, since it also generates you advantage, is a good idea. Then quickly touching on the smartphones again that you summoned, keep in mind which smartphones you summoned off your cell phone effect, since you can't return those or just resummon those. So they're great banish fodder for other smartphones or your remotens. Just consider, what do you have in hand? What are the plays you can do? Do you feel lucky enough to resummon that cell phone for the 8th time this turn? Or do you just want to go for the safe option, summon Scope and summon a level 4 with Scope's effect and go into a synchro like that? Which is the thing. Sometimes you gotta take those gambles, sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. Just, I don't know, make your best assessment of the situation in that case, and do what you believe is right, because the deck is rather flexible and what you can end on, since it does cover a wide range of synchro levels and gives you a good access to a very good synchro pool in the end. Yeah, which is the thing. You don't really have a set end board. Yes, I can clearly say that Morphtronics will end on something similar if you machine dupe a Saffron, but it is not always going to be that way. You are going to, in the rarest of cases, have duels where you machine dupe Saffron, roll 3 ones, and basically pass turn on Platinum Gadget Linkuribo, which is kind of ironic, funny, scary, I guess, in some way, shape, or form, because Morphtronics is probably the only combo deck that can draw into its full combo and yet still end on nothing. So yeah, that will probably be that. And yeah, as I mentioned kind of towards the end, use your guaranteed searches you have off your Remoten to kind of fill in the blanks. Just I wrote here, filling the pieces of a puzzle, I guess. Just use your guaranteed searches when you need them for the cards you need at that moment, maybe grabbing another non-tuner to summon off Scopen, so you can go into another level 7 Synchro, and other stuff that continues your plays. I don't know. Discard fodder for Morphtronic Repair Unit is also something you can grab there. So that is probably fine. So yeah, this will be my combo guide to equip Morphtronics. Definitely let me know what you think of this kind of reworked guide, as I know I did one about a year ago, but I just wanted to touch on it again, and maybe go over even more than just my equip focused build. As mentioned, I will be working on more synchro / combo heavy variants of this video in the coming weeks, but I'll probably update those profiles before I go into that. So yeah, this has been essentially it for today. I will thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.